Hello you guys, Miss Steele here. I'm down here. You can see that we don't have a document camera, just my computer screen, because what we're doing is something that will be done on our computers. So we've been talking about, I'm back. We've been talking about texture this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our Canvas Chrome apps, our online drawing apps, and we're going to add some different textures to some different fruit. So in the folder, I'll have some outlines of fruits that you guys will save. Save it somewhere where you can remember so you can go back and find it. Because we're going to be using this picture to add things onto for our fruit. We're going to make a fuzzy fruit, a bumpy lumpy fruit, and a drippy fruit. So I already have my canvas pulled up. It'll look like this. Your guys's will have different stuff. This is different projects I've done. So instead of new drawing, we're going to go to new from image and we're going to click on that. And then right here is where I have my fruit outline. Wherever you guys save it is where you'll be able to find it. So be mindful about what folder you're saving it to and what you name it so you can go back and find it. So now I'm going to double click and that pulls it up here and they're big, but I can use my little pinch pad and I can pinch together to make it smaller or make it larger. So I want to make one bumpy, one fuzzy, and one drippy. And how I want to do that is up to me. What I can do is this is a bottom layer. I'm going to go ahead and add in a few layers. And I think I'm going to start with fuzzy. And I think I want to do my banana fuzzy. So what I'm doing is I'm making for sure I'm on a higher layer. There are all of these different tools. I think I'm going to start out with a marker tool and I'm going to make it yellow like how it should be. And I think first I'm going to add in like a bigger brush for my hairs and then I'm going to have a smaller one to add more details. But what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start adding on a bunch of little hairs to make this fuzzy. And then adding on smaller ones in a lighter or darker color will help it look even fuzzier. But whenever we're creating texture, it's kind of just like whenever we talk about patterns, something that repeats itself again and again. So I'm adding in some little hairs, if you guys can see, and that's what's going to make this fuzzy. So I'm going to go through and add in first this color, and then I'll come back whenever I'm adding in other colors to give it more texture. Okay, so I've added in some bigger strokes, and then I can pinch, or I can right-click this and move it around. So now I think I'm going to go to like a lighter yellow and I'm going to click over here to custom and I'm going to make it a lighter yellow. And I might go in with my pen tool instead. Yeah. And I'm going to start adding in a few different hairs using my lighter color. And then I might add in a few different hairs using like a darker yellow just to make it look even more fuzzier. So I'm going to go through and keep adding this in, and then I'll be back whenever I switch to my darker color. Okay, so now I got this. So I'm going to go back, and maybe I'll click to palette, and I want to do a deeper yellow. So I'm going to bring it over here and bring it darker. And then I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to add in some more fuzzy hairs to this. And if you see, I'm just clicking and dragging. I'm making small little lines. It kind of takes a lot of time. But that's what makes it look fuzzy. And I'm going to work my way up, and then we're going to zoom out and see how it looks. And then we have our other two to do. So I'm going to finish up this, and then I think I might do this one drippy, my orange drippy, and this one bumpy, because we need one fuzzy, one drippy, can't even speak, one drippy, and one bumpy. So I'm going to finish up this and then I might get started and I'll hop back here. Okay, so now I'm moving on to my drippy orange, and so what I want to do is I'm going to go to a new layer. I'm going to go to this top layer to do a few different drippy layers because I'm going to add some shadow in behind to make it look nice. So then I want to get an orange color, and then I'm going to make this marker even bigger for our drips, making for sure it's at its full color. And then I'm gonna kind of drip it down. Come back in and color this in. You know what? I don't like that. I'm gonna make this smaller. It's always okay to start something and then not super love it. And then to make it drippy, I'm just bringing it down. Maybe we'll do a far drip. And then what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna fill this in to kind of help that drip color. Like this. And then what I can do behind, because we have this on this top layer, I'm going to go behind it. Because the one that's on top, that's in the very front. And I think I might use the chalk tool, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker to give it some shadow underneath. You see what I mean? So then whenever I add in another drip, it kind of makes this one stand out even more. So then I'm going to add in another layer, and I'm going to tuck it behind both of these. Top, middle, now this is the lowest one, and then I'm going to add in another drip using that same orange, which I think we were using this one. And I want to switch back to the marker tool. I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller too. And that's going to be this drip. But if you see where we added in that shadow, it kind of makes it to where we can see it a little bit better. I might go in and add some more shadow behind it too. I'm going to fill this in, and I might touch up this shadow, and then I'll be back and I'll show you guys how we can add some highlights on. Whew, this is a lot, but we're getting through it together. Alright, I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So hopefully I can get through all this. But here is my drippy orange that I made. Here are the different layers because I added my drips, and then behind it I like to add like a little bit of shadow to make it look even more drippy. And now I just have like a lighter cream color that I'm going to use to go through and add like a few little highlights here and there to my drips, just to kind of make it look even more like it's like slimy and shiny and drippy. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to move on to our apple, and then we will be done. So I think to make this bumpy, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it in with red, and I'm going to give it a bumpy outline. I'm going to use this red because I think I can use this dark red and this lighter red to go back and add some more details. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make the outside of this bumpy to start out with before I fill it in. So I'm going to fill in the stem and the apple and the leaf with like a bumpy line. And then I'm going to fill it in on the inside. So I'm going to go through and start doing that. And I'm going to get this bumpy, this, and this bumpy. And then we will continue. All right, so I got my apple colored in. I have it zoomed in now. I'm going to use this chalk tool. And I think I'm going to use this to help us start making some bumps. So I don't have it very big. I have it at about 15. And then what I can use is I can use this to start going through and adding some different size bumps in. And what I do is I like to do almost like a C shape. And then you can add a few bumps here and there. And then I'm going to use another tool to go in and add in some others. There's some small ones, and you want some large ones. So I'm going to go through and keep using this little tool to add in some little bumps before we move on to our next step. So now I'm going to move to a different layer on top. I have all these different layers. I went ahead and added some bumps to this. I think I'm going to move to my pen tool, and then I'm going to go back to these colors on our palette. I'm going to use this lighter one, and then I'm going to go back and use these to kind of detail all of these different bumps that I created. So I'm just adding another line on top of my line just to help them stand out even more. So I'm going to go through and keep doing this with the colors I have on my apple, with the colors I have on my little leaf and my stem, and I could even use this and go back and throw in some other little bumps here and there. Almost like a circle, but stopping just super close to what a circle would be. And like the more of these little like circle bumpy details you add in, the more you just help your work. And if you see, I like to do them every which way. I don't do them just one way. I do them anyway. So I'm going to go through and keep adding this in, and then we'll do it right here, and then we'll look at all three of them together. All right, you guys, that's it. We have our bumpy, our fuzzy, and our drippy fruit. We kind of changed the textures on all three of these fruits to something brand new. You want to save a picture of this and be sure to upload it to the media album. I'm excited to see how your guys' fruits come out. I did this one drippy and this one fuzzy and this one bumpy, but you can change them if you want to. You just want to make for sure that you have one that's furry/fuzzy, one that's drippy, and one that's bumpy. I'm excited to see how these come out. Be sure to click these three dots in the corner up here, save as image. And then if you click on it, it'll save to your photos, but you can click these three dots again and then click save as, and it'll let you save it wherever you want to save it. So I'm going to put it in 4th grade, texture week, textured fruit, project example for you guys. And then I'm going to save it there just so I know where it is. And that is it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, and I will see you guys next time.